I want to welcome you to the Strand webinar. My name is Sophie Tidrick. I'm the Vice President and Director of Development for the Strand. I'm also the moderator again today for what will be our fifth webinar in our series. I see a couple of familiar faces here. Some of our owners and agents have joined us, so welcome, guys. I also see a few new guests, so really glad you guys could make it. First, please, if you have any trouble hearing me or the panelists, please let us know in the comments and questions section, and we'll do our best to make ourselves clear. Also, if you have any questions as we're going through, at the very end, we will be answering some of those in that Q&A section. Let me start off by introducing our panelists today. First, we have John Fair, who is the developer and managing director of the Strand. John is the visionary developer behind Turks and Caicos' award-winning Grace Bay Club and also Esperanza Resort in Cabo San Lucas. Hi, John.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
We also have our Vice President and Director of Sales, Thorne Capron, joining us today. Thorne has a long history of selling luxury real estate in the TCI. He is previously the head of sales and marketing at Amanyara and Aman Property. Welcome back, Thorne. How are you?
Hey, Sophie. Thank you for the introduction. Hey, everybody. I know probably most of you, but excited to speak to you today.
Finally, I'd also like to introduce Joe Zahm, the president and owner of Turks and Caicos' leading brokerage, Turks and Caicos Sotheby's International Realty. Hi, Joe. How are you?
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Sophie.
So today's webinar, we're going to focus on giving you some updates on our construction, because there's been quite a lot for some of our residences and the resort. We're also going to touch on some of our solar program, some of our availability for sales, some of our signature residences, and introduce those in a bit more detail to you, and go over the market here in Turks and Caicos as a whole. But to kick that off, why don't we touch base with you, John, and maybe you could give us some of the construction updates.
Sure. Thanks, Sophie. So the most exciting thing at the Strand has been that we've been able to complete and turn over 4 homes. All 4 are luxury residences, are 1, 2, 3, and 7. And you can see them. That's 3 of them right there. That's our 1 in the background, 2 in the middle, and 3 in the foreground. And we're just, we're ecstatic with how they turned out. They're spectacular. We did have the opportunity to have a professional photo shoot. And so some of these photos you'll see, like the first one and this one, these are actual photos. In the past, we were always showing renderings. Now we have more photos and a few renderings. But it's almost remarkable how close the houses turned out to the renderings. And it's kind of fun to take some looks. We'll look at that in a little bit. But as far as construction goes on the property, it's going fantastic. We have a ton under construction. We have over 200 construction workers. We have a burn rate of $3 to $4 million a month right now in construction, which is great. That's where we want to be. And most importantly, we are targeting a mid-November, probably 3rd week of November, opening for the project with full operations. And I'll talk about that for just a second. Some of these photos are fun to talk about too, but this shows R6 on the left, which is a grand villa, R7, which is completed, and R8, which is a luxury under construction. But when I talk about our schedule, so by November, we will have completed all of the amenities and infrastructure. And this is a great shot right here, illustrating some of that. That's building A on the left, building B on the right. And that's our reception building in the foreground and the parking lot. The reception building, by the way, will be done in the next 60 days. Building A will start being completed in April and will be furnished in June, July. Building B will be done in August primarily, some July, August, maybe slip a little bit into September, and then it'll be furnished. But again, we'll be opening in November with the restaurant, the bar, the beach club, full reception, fitness. This is a nice shot here of looking in. You can see the groin for the main beach. The sand placement will start taking place in the next week to 10 days. They're setting up all the pre-construction work right now. That's the main pool. Just to the right of that, which you can't see, and by the way, they're tiling the pool now. Just to the right of the main pool is the bar. Then to the right of that, the restaurant, which is moving along very quickly. There you go. Mm-hmm. So that whole area, there's a big bar right in between the kitchen on the right, which is buried into the hillside with the green roof, and the pool. It probably by our next webinar, we'll be able to talk about the food and beverage. We've just made a deal for our direct culinary director and executive chef of the restaurant. And we also have hired now for quite a while, Fritz Hannenberg, who is our general manager, and his wife, Jenny, who's our director of hospitality. And, but we will have the first phase of the marina done. We will have all the fitness, reception, concierge, boutique, restaurant, bar, pool, beach. All of that will be done and open. The tennis, pickleball. The only thing we won't have open till 2025 is the spa and the artist in residence apartment, which we are still designing. Because if you may recall, we didn't originally have a spa. It was going to be the general manager's quarters, but we changed our minds and are turning that space into a spa.
Yeah. John, could you tell us a little bit more about the spa? Because this has come up on some of my meetings with even our existing clients as to what they can expect we will have in that spa.
Yeah, so our spa, it won't be huge, but it'll be beautiful. We'll have 5 treatment rooms, including 1 double, and then a beautiful, very intimate outdoor space that'll be like a gorgeous garden with a fountain, and we're hopefully going to put in a hot and cold plunge out there. There will also be his and hers saunas, and obviously his and hers locker rooms. But yeah, that's what'll be at the spa, Sophie.
Wonderful. Yeah. And I know that part of that spa and part of all of our architecture is to kind of really fit into the landscape. I think we see that in some of the photographs we've just been through of our luxury residences that are complete. But part of us also trying to be in keeping with the environment is also our solar program. I know a lot of people have questions on that. Thus far, all of our clients have opted to go with our solar program, which is wonderful. We're very proud of that. And maybe you can talk a little bit more about those offerings and what those look like.
Yeah, so this is a great shot, by the way. We had the advantage of being able to design these specifically to accommodate solar packages. So that's a pretty substantial solar package that you see right there, and it fits on the flat roof beneath the parapet, so you never see it unless you're doing a drone shot. So that package right there also comes with 4 power walls that are in the Tesla power walls that are in the garage. And we think over a year's time that it'll produce about 75% of the total power consumed. And throughout the resort, we're doing this. So we think about 75% of the total power of all of the Strand will be produced by solar, which is fantastic considering power in Turks and Caicos costs 56 cents a kilowatt hour right now. What I'm most happy about with the solar is the quality of the product and the installation. and the fact that it's working exactly as was advertised. And as just a little special bonus, the contractor's putting in the charger for a Tesla car for the future, but it's really neat and it's working great. And so you get, you have an app with Tesla like this, and it just shows, for example, if you look at the center shot there, at that day, 33% of the power came from the grid, 29 from the Powerwall, 38 from the solar. So what that really means, the Powerwall is also solar. But sometimes it's 99%, sometimes it's 50%, depends how sunny that day is and how much power you used and how you use the power. But
yeah, I mean, all of our packages come with Powerwall, even down to our 2-bed villas. They have one Powerwall for the villa units. And the Powerwall also can operate as a generator. So on the occasion that we have any power outages on the grid, you can click on to your Powerwall, and you can even go as detailed as telling what appliances you want to be using during those outages. So you're smart about what energy you're consuming. I know that a lot of our owners who have already had their systems online have been really happy with the way that app has operated for them, and the fact that they can see their consumption and their production from anywhere in the world. So it's pretty cool.
Yep, that's right.
John, maybe we can go into a little more depth. I know you mentioned our GM, but can we talk a little bit more about the opening in November? And what our owners and potential new clients can expect when that happens.
So I walked through all the things that'll be done. So approximately half of the units in the Strand will be completed and open and available for rental when we open. So it'll be Building A and Building B. And Building A turns into 15 keys from a hospitality standpoint. And Building B is, 20, I think? 20 keys. The 8 times 2. Yeah, 20 keys in Building B. And then we have 4 residences. So there'll be 39 total keys the day we open. And there'll be like approximately 55 or 60 bedrooms. That's enough critical mass to enable us to open up the restaurant and the whole beach club and all the services and amenities. Then not too far down the line in 2025, Building C will come online, and that's another 27 keys. So the key to the operations and the efficiency and viability of the operations really lies in the vacation villas in buildings A, B, and C. And with everything else that's under construction now or imminently starting construction on the units or the residences, we're gonna be, fully operational. I think when we are all done, we'll have something like 80 keys roughly and about 160 bedrooms. So it's a pretty good sized resort at the end of the day.
It is, yeah, and I know that a lot of our clients are very excited for that operation to start. Some of our owners who are still, their homes will be under construction, have even said that they're excited to start staying in the villas so they can be on property and watch that progress as they're here and enjoy the amenities before their home's even finished. But with that, and an integral part of that is the hiring of our GM, Fritz, who's been a fantastic addition. And also with his wife, Jenny, who is our hospitality manager. They've been a wonderful addition to our team here locally, but for the people joining us that haven't had the pleasure of meeting them yet, maybe we should just give them a little bit of a backstory on Fritz and Jenny and their history in Turks and Caicos.
Sure. And so Fritz Fritz was the opening GM for the Shore Club in Turks and Caicos, but his background is really interesting. We were looking for, ideally, we're such an interesting hybrid. We're a ultra luxury resort. We're a private club. We are, and it's all residential and villas. So ideally, I was looking for someone who had experience in all those different areas, and that's kind of hard to find. But Fritz was the perfect one. Fritz and Jenny used to run. What's the island where Mick Jagger has a house?
Mystique.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They used to run that whole island, which is owned by 100 homeowners, and they used to manage all their homes. They've done ultra luxury 5-star. He's been the GM Shore Club. He's been in Mauritius and elsewhere. And then his last position he was in was the managing director of the Abaco Club in the Abacos, which is a fabulous private club. And so he really checked the box on every one of those things. And the beautiful thing is their family's favorite place they've ever lived, and all they're moving around the world, and they're from the Netherlands originally, is Turks and Caicos. So they're really excited to get back, and I think it's been a perfect fit. And we're really looking forward to having Fritz and Jenny and their family, operationally running the Strand.
Yeah, definitely. And it has been a family project for them. I mean, there's been a couple of furniture installations that the kids have pitched in and hung out with. And so it's lovely to kind of start that club atmosphere, even with our staff. And it's no surprise that they were excited to move back to Turks and Caicos. That seems to be a theme on everyone's mind. I know personally, I think we all do. But someone that knows very, very well is Thorn, who not only had his wonderful family here, but also has been dealing with a lot of our new sales to date. So introducing and walking people over the line for their new home in Turks and Caicos. Can you touch on some of those points, Thorne?
Yeah, thanks, Sophie. I hope some of our homeowners are on here and that you were happy with everything that I did walking you through from point A to point Z. But we've had a tremendous start to this year. Last year we had a phenomenal start. We've led the market in kind of the high-end luxury home market here with sales between $8 and $12 million. We continue to do that for the entire Turks and Caicos market, which is phenomenal. We've done about $130+ million in sales at this point in time, which makes us far past the midway point. We've got about $90 million in sales left on the property. For buyers that have been kind of on the fence and watching this progress for a while, this is a really great time because we still have a really good selection of product. But we're, as John said, we're so far along that opening dates and your timeline to being able to move into your house has moved up expeditiously. So it's an exciting time for anybody who's been watching from the sidelines for a little while. Some of the things that I'm most excited about, obviously, is the fact that some of the owners that we sold to originally are able to move into their properties now, and seeing how happy they are across the board with what we've delivered. It's kind of been a game changer for me. These renderings Sophie's going through right now, renderings and photographs, are actually really exciting because, like, right now we've got a rendering of one of our luxury residences on the screen, and then I'm assuming the next shot will be a picture of that luxury residence from the same general location. If you can see, right. I mean, without a doubt, the picture looks better than the rendering, but the rendering looked really good. And the reason I'm so excited about this is that when you're originally selling to people, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to transfer. You can show them a picture and you can show them a piece of land, but sometimes it's hard for them to say, is it really going to look like the rendering? And now we have something to show you that's tangible, that you can walk through, that you can touch, that is actually better than the rendering. And kudos to you, Sophie and John, for making that a reality, because obviously that was all your hard work that made that happen. One of the products that we've just launched just recently were our signature residences. And the reason why I'm such a big fan of this rendering to reality that we're able to show now is that all we have for the signature residences are the renderings. But luckily, we're able to instill so much faith in our clients now, because we can say, hey, look at this rendering, look what we made with the luxury residences, and we're able to continue that theme with our signature residences.
Yeah, I have a couple of slides for you now on signature residence coming up, Thorne, but I also think it's wonderful, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's nice throughout the Strand because now that we have some finished product, even our signatures, our grands, our villas, we all have the same finishes. So the same coral stone, the same Shell Beach limestone inside, the same Taj Mahal quartzite countertops, pergolas. The theme that kind of unites them all is the same and consistent. So to see that level of finish in our luxuries is helpful, I think, for these other products.
Absolutely, Sophie. And luckily, we're far enough along now on the villa product, especially in building A, that we're able to show, floors and finishing materials. I mean, the bathrooms are going in, kitchens are going in, everything's going in. So we're really able to show that on building A, but also showing that there's no difference between if you get a 2-bedroom, rooftop villa with us in the 2.5 range, or you go all the way up to one of our estates and, go up, maybe you go up 13 plus with additions. There's not a difference in the quality of the product we give you. There's just a difference in the size and the placement of the product that we give you. And that's important for us. There's this overlying theme of we really choose the best possible finishing materials. And that's a John thing. I remember when we were first getting going, he basically made the promise. He goes, like, if there's ever a material that we can't get, I'll get something better. I'll never go lower. It'll always be the better thing. It'll always be the best thing. And he's stayed true to that. And I think that all of our buyers have been able to see that and are very, very happy with it. I haven't had a single buyer come back yet who hasn't, basically given me a big hug as, for getting them to do this in the first place. And I love that. There's nothing more rewarding in what I do.
That's it. Yeah, absolutely. I met with our owners, the Diamonds, the other day, and they said that they tried to find a word for it. And they said, what's the absolute opposite of buyer's remorse?
Yeah, exactly. and look, that's what it's all about. That's really what it's all about.
It is. And I think up until this point, we really had, with all of our different floor plans, we've had something for everyone. So whether you're kiteboarding and it's just you as a couple and you are limited on space, we've got villas and you have your own private pool and you have your privacy. You can lock out and go. Or if you have a large family that want to travel and come with you to Turks and Caicos, we have something for you too. Now, with that being said, it seems like from the last few seasons with you and Sotheby's that inventory is dwindling. This site plan is getting more reds than ever. So maybe we could touch on what availability we have left.
Yeah, one of the things, as you pointed, is that we do have a genre of different great opportunities depending on what somebody's looking for. With the villa properties, you could be anything from a family who wants a 3-bedroom villa, or you could just be somebody who's purely an investor who wants, I think, based on all the numbers and everything I looked at, what I think is the best managed investment property that you can buy on the island, which would be one of our 2 or 3-bedroom villas. So you could be just an investor. You could be a family person coming down. You could be an empty nester that's looking for flexibility. One of the great things about the Strand is that we don't try to restrict you on any of your usage. We really treat this like your home. I know that seems like an obvious thing, but it's not a recurring theme that you find in so many managed properties. So I'm excited about that. As far as the inventory that we have left, it's on our residence side. If you look over there, we only have R5 left. So all of our luxury residences have been sold to phenomenal families and great people. And we're excited to have them. And I'm actually more excited for them to all meet each other and get to know each other over time. But we only have that one grand residence left over there, which is a great buy because if you're the last person in, it means that you're never going to have to deal with any sort of construction around your property. You're just going to jump in. You're going to last guy in. You know exactly what you're getting. It's going to be it's a great property. And then, of course, we have the signature residences, which we've gotten a lot of interest in. I'm excited about. I expect to move most of those signature residences in the next couple of months. If you look at the Turks and Caicos market as a whole, there's really nothing that I've found that is going to be able to compete with that in that price point when it comes to you getting the private club, when it comes to you getting the security and all the amenity sets and still getting this 4,400 plus square foot oceanfront home with 2 master suites and your own private swimming pool on your own private bit of shoreline. Those are pretty special properties. So I have high expectations for those, and I know that the owners who do buy those are going to love them. The nice thing about them is that, for middle-aged people, you've got that master suite on the top story, but you also have it on the ground floor. So as you get older, mobilization becomes a little bit more of an issue. You can have that ground floor master suite, or if you've got older parents, you've got a ground floor master suite for them, and you still have two bedrooms plus another master upstairs for you and the kids. Mm-hmm. So really, really well thought out, beautiful properties. As far as the villas go, we don't have a lot left. We only have 2 of the 2-bedroom villas left in Building B. The 2-bedroom villas, I'm always been a big fan of. Maybe that's because I like entertaining, but there's something that's very seductive about that rooftop deck. And the idea, John, I'm a big storyteller, right? And that's how I've always kind of done my sales, is by telling stories about how you would use this property. And so that rooftop deck, it's like this vision of you coming into our marina at the end of the night. You've gone fishing out on one of the Strand boats or out on a charter. You can barbecue up on your rooftop, while the sun goes down with some friends. I'm pretty blown away by them. We only have 2 of those left, so I think those will go pretty soon. And then over in Building C, we just did another reservation from Sotheby's. Thank you, Courtney and Joe over at Sotheby's, for that wonderful clients that you brought us. But we only, that leaves us with 6 3-bedroom units left in Building C. That's all. And those are going to go super, super fast. Actually, I have a couple of clients coming down this week just for them. So those are just home run properties, whether you're an investor or you're a family person who just needs the 3 bedrooms. And then on the estates, as you can see, we've only got 2 estates left. So again, it's down to selection. The nice thing I will say about those 2 estates that we have left, those are some great lots. Like, those are huge lots. You've got big frontage. You've got incredibly massive docks on the back. I believe E3's dock is like 160 feet long or something. So you could put jet skis, you could put 2 different boats back there. You could do a whole lot with that. And if you look throughout the entire Caribbean, you're going to be hard pressed to find any properties that are going to offer you beachfront and you can park your boat at the back. That's not a normal thing. And as time progresses, and as you own this property for years, you're going to realize more and more and more how valuable that is and how rare that is. And you're going to be happy with the appreciation, even though you're never going to sell.
Yeah.
Thorn, one thing I'd like to point out is that on the 2 estate lots, E1 and E3, you actually have a choice of putting either a luxury or a grand on either one.
Absolutely. And that's a total opinion-based thing, whether you like a grand more, you want the bigger property, or you like those 26-foot high ceilings in the luxury property. But the ability to give you those options and that flexibility is a wonderful option.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Thorne. Thank you for that. Could we dive in a little bit more and just talk about our signature residences? We've got some renderings here. I find they're quite unique out of all of our offerings. You touched on the 2 master bedroom suites, but maybe we could talk about some of the other unique properties of these signature residences.
Yeah, so I mean, the way that these were designed, I think they came out extraordinarily well. They've got a large amount of deck space out front, which obviously, the ocean side of these properties, that's where you're going to be spending the most of your time, not all of it, but the most of your time. And you guys have done a great job with the design of having outdoor covered deck areas, having private deck areas off of that ground floor master suite, and then having, a great infinity pool that overflows. And I don't know, those of you that have been lucky enough to come out to our site, those of you that haven't, give me a call, we'll go out. But we have, the way that our properties are, because of our proximity to the ocean, because of our elevation, the view lines that you get off our infinity pools, it really is infinity. It's the water from our pools flow right out into the ocean. It's this really cool perspective. And we'll continue to have that with the signature residences. I think that we were able to pack most of the great things about our grand residences and our luxury residences into just a slightly smaller property here with the signature residences. And I think for a lot of people that are looking for a vacation home or a second home, they don't necessarily want something much bigger than this because they don't need it. And this offers you 4 bedrooms. I mean, this rendering here is great. It shows you've got the glass in the front. We stick with the same material sets that we've used throughout the entire property. So this is a really, really quality build. I think for some people, that double master suite might even make it more interesting to them than a luxury residence would have been.
Yeah, absolutely. And something that I like about this is that, again, staying with our theme of every bedroom in the main house has ocean views. You still have a huge pool for everyone to enjoy, plenty of space there. And then you also get a bonus room up on your second floor, which often goes overlooked, but you have views of your courtyard from there. That could be anything you want it to be.
Yeah, I love that bonus room in the back. It's one of those things where, you know, if you're having an adult party, that's a great place. It could be off of the kids' bedrooms if that's what you turn those into. They can all hang out there and still have their kids' party upstairs without interfering with you, and you know they're safe and happy in their environment. Yeah, definitely fascinating. One of the great things about the Strand as a whole, though, is that all of our bedrooms, and this is super rare, a lot of people don't realize this, but most resorts, your ground floors, you can't see the ocean. It's not a normal thing to have like crazy ocean views from your ground floor. You usually go second or even third level to get them. With us at the Strand, because of our elevation and the way that we're built, every single one of our bedrooms, minus the guest houses, has direct ocean views. Every single bedroom from every single main property has a direct ocean view, and that is special. That means nobody's fighting over which bedroom. You know, when you go to the house, you walk into the bedroom and everybody thinks that they got the best one, but it's because they're all the best one.
Yeah, that's very true. And
another thing I'd just point out is that we also have beautiful courtyards. It's a theme of the Strand, and something that's important to me that probably comes out of all my experience and time in Mexico developing. But I love the sense of entry of a beautiful courtyard, and I love the use, the outdoor spaces you can create. So these have cute little courtyards with outdoor dining, outdoor kitchen, and then 3 of the 4 signature units have this flexible room in the back that's actually a full bedroom with closet and bathroom, but you could also use it as a studio, you can use it as a family room, a game room, you know, anything you'd like.
Office gym.
Yeah, and I think the way that this room faces that courtyard with the sliding glass doors, you could also open that up and just entertain throughout, indoor, outdoor, in that space. Something we also did was to connect that courtyard with a separate kind of service door directly from the kitchen, which I think is quite handy and a lot of people like.
You'll see that service door, guys, over by kind of the barbecue area, and that is really nice. You know, when you're throwing a party and you call up Fritz and Jenny and you say, look, I don't feel like cleaning up after and I don't feel like cooking before, you guys take care of everything. You've got a great entry for the staff to kind of come in and out of your property and take care of that for you. I get a lot of questions on why we always put the barbecues on our courtyard side of the properties and not on the front of the properties. The main reason for that is that we have a really nice light prevailing wind, especially in the summer times, which you guys are going to be happy about because it just makes it a very pleasant place to hang out over by the ocean side of your property. But it also means that if there was smoke or things from the barbecue, it would blow onto your house. We put them in the back because they're more sheltered, and it also creates another environment. It's another place in the house where you can create a focal point where people can hang